The biggest reason you're not at your potential right now is because you're afraid of the reality of success. It all comes down to fear. And I don't mean you're afraid of driving a supercar or dating hot chicks, traveling all over, making a bunch of money. Those are all symptoms of success. Those are the end results of success. But you're afraid of who you have to become to actually be truly successful and give yourself freedom. You're afraid of giving up what makes you comfortable right now. And the funny thing is, you don't even know that you're afraid. But in this video, I'm going to expose it to you and I'm going to teach you how to supersede those fears by actually tapping into your villain. I'm going to explain it. I want you to imagine that you have an immense power within you, but you simply don't access this power because what it takes to access that power will expose a version of you that you might not like and that you might not be comfortable with. And I've seen this in myself, by the way. So I'm speaking to you as much as I'm speaking to my past self. I went from making $3,000 per month early on in my business journey when I was just hustling as a nightclub promoter and doing dating coaching to making $15K, $20K plus per month because I went into the deepest, darkest parts of myself. And what I call this is becoming the villain, or the better way to say it, the way that I want you to understand this is becoming the anti-hero of your life. Let's train. Let's go in depth on how to become this version of you, because if you can get past the fear that's holding you back, and it is holding you back right now, you're going to access everything that you want and more. Becoming the anti-hero isn't about this idea of conventional evil or taking on harmful actions. It's not about being a bad guy, being like a bad person. When people hear the dark side or hear become the villain or become the anti-hero, it always brings up negative ideas. I want to become the villain and hurt people. The first principle to actually becoming the villain for yourself, becoming the anti-hero, is getting extremely comfortable being out of your emotional comfort zone. The first principle is to go very, very far out of your emotional comfort zone. And this is the important part. Psychotically enjoy the lack of comfort. This is crazy because this is what changed my life. I started to psychotically enjoy lacking comfort emotionally, lacking comfort in my life. And it doesn't mean that I shut off my emotions, because I did years of spiritual work to be in tune with them and be aware of where I was at as an individual, as a man, how I felt emotionally. But I was very comfortable being out of my comfort zone, and I began to enjoy and literally psychotically embrace, which I'm going to go more into here, being out of my comfort zone. I'll give you an example of this in sales. When you're on a call with the prospects, some prospects you get have a big ego, they make more money than you, they want you to think that they have their shit together. You talk to some prospects like that occasionally. And me working as a closer and a sales consultant, I deal with people like this daily, consistently. Guys that are making 100K plus per month. They're very successful. They run large companies and they're just full of themselves and they don't want to answer my questions. The only way you'll make money in sales is if you can have tough questions and tough conversations with the people you're talking to. So as an example of getting uncomfortable and enjoying the lack of emotional comfort is when I'm on the call with someone and I get some dude and I ask him about his fear or I ask him about his desire. Hey, what would it mean to you if you were in this position in your life? And he says, I don't know, not much would change. And instead of me sitting back and saying, cool, man, and moving past it because I don't want to have an uncomfortable conversation, no, I want his money. And I want to bring him into our program. I want him to make a transformation. I want him to get results, but I want to get paid, and I want to get paid big. I want to be at 20K plus consistently per month. That's the standard I set for myself. So how do I do that? How do I consistently do that? It's by staying in an emotional space that is uncomfortable for me. Now, over time, it becomes comfortable. So these conversations that I have with people regularly, I'm actually comfortable with them now because I trained myself to be comfortable with the discomfort of these conversations where the prospect might not be flowing with me, might not just be playing ball with me. The only way you're going to make money in life is if you get uncomfortable, and the best results only exist in the absence of comfort and the embrace of discomfort. I don't want you to just get uncomfortable as this cute little thought. Okay, I want to be very specific here. I'm not telling you to get uncomfortable just because it's this cute little idea. I want you to enjoy the discomfort because it's going to give you more leverage to get what you want. I psychotically enjoy discomfort. I love discomfort. I love feeling uncomfortable. I love feeling like I don't know what's next. I love being in positions where I have to make momentary decisions that could either lead to me making money or lead to nothing happening, or, I lose money. I love those moments. I love those decisions. And that gives me leverage because I'm comfortable with the uncomfortable, because I'm comfortable being in a space that doesn't feel good to me, that doesn't naturally just feel easy. Because I'm comfortable with that, it gives me an advantage over everyone else that I'm competing against. Part of this as well, part of this journey into becoming the villain, into becoming the anti-hero for yourself, is cutting out wasted energy and subpar relationships. And this is something that 99% of men will not do because they can't do it. The truth is, they will not find it in themselves to do it. They actually could. They actually could if they dug deep and brought this version of themselves out and followed the right path, pushed forward to success, had a vision like I talk about in a lot of my other videos. But a lot of men simply won't do it, and they can't find it in themselves too because they never take the steps to do it. But I've never shared this before, and I'm going to share it here for the first time. I've been coaching for years in self-development, dating, mindset. Now I train sales. And I'm going to share with you something I've never shared. You have to actually see yourself as better than others. I really mean that. Don't take it out of context. It doesn't mean that you have to put other people down or be disrespectful. It doesn't mean that. But you have to see yourself as better. And I'll give you an example of this. Look at how our society functions. If you look at society, the most privileged, successful people among us, the people who are making the money, the people who are on top, the people who run the world, and everyone just below them, let's say the top literal 1% of the West, okay, we'll call it, people that are billions, multiple millions, people that are doing quite well. If you look at how they position themselves and how they set themselves up, they literally put themselves on top. And I mean physically on top. You look at their offices. You look at where they live, penthouses, premium real estate, in secluded neighborhoods and gated communities. If you look at what happens in sporting events, the people who have the most money, maybe they sit courtside for the experience of the game, but a lot of them get box office seats at the top of the stadium, at the top of the arena. Exclusivity and isolation. It's a physical representation that their experience of life is quite actually better than ours. And as I've grown in my business, as I've started to make more, be in different circles, I've started to taste this and experience it. Being in environments that are high end, being in places that are more exclusive, being around people who can invite me to things that are exclusive and that have a different standard, a separation from the common crowd. I talk to guys who want success, but there's always a energy and vision mismatch between themselves and who they surround themselves with. I've had students like this, young guys I've worked with, guys in their early 20s who want success. They say, I want it all. I want to be great. I want to make money. I want to give back to my family. I want to build a life for myself. And what happens is I look at the circle, I look at the people they're around, the conversations they're having, and the conversations they're having are so low quality because they don't see themselves as better. But I'll tell you the truth, I see myself as better. I don't see myself as having more worth as a human being. That's the difference. But I do absolutely believe that I deserve quality. I believe that I deserve to be in exclusive environments and places where 99% of human beings will not be able to access and go to. Now, I want to give back to others and I want to help other people get into those circles, right? I love giving back. I love mentoring. I love coaching. I love helping. That's the goal. But the standard I set for myself is top 1% because I do see myself as better. And this is part of being the anti-hero. You must see yourself as better. You must see yourself as a cut above the rest. And as I begin to think different, my circle changed. As I begin to evolve in my thought processes, as my consciousness began to evolve as a man, the conversations that I had evolved with me. The people I was around evolved. My time became more valuable. So instead of me just spending time with anybody who says, hey, let's have a coffee, I pick and I choose and I say, this person I want to give my energy to. I even learned these lessons now. Sometimes I'll link up with someone and after, meeting with them for an hour or two, I'll just feel in my soul that energy, that conversation just isn't the level where I'm at right now, and I'm trying to be better, right? There's a level, there are winners and there are losers in this world. The winners can help the losers become winners, right? And maybe not all people who are in a state of losing are actual losers. Maybe they have it in themselves to win. And these are the people I love. I love bringing other people up, but the truth is where you're starting from, you must see yourself as better. You can't see yourself as like the rest because what you want is exceptional. So you have to see yourself as exceptional, and you have to see the standard in your head and your mind, the dream, the vision. You paint it, you build it, you see it, you taste it. It is better. It is the nature of what you want must be better than what everyone else has. That's just the reality of it. The other part of the villain arc, the other part of becoming the anti-hero is obsessive repetition and delicious boredom. And I love this one. This is one of my favorite parts of this journey, parts of this growth. And it's really actually helped me a lot in sales. I'll explain how. There's a story that you've probably heard when you were younger, the story of the tortoise and the hare. Okay, your grandparents, your teachers, your mom, your dad, whoever told you this story. But the story, the moral is wrong. What you were told was wrong. Your grandparents and teachers always told you to be like the tortoise. I know they did. They said, be like the tortoise, slow and steady, not taking speed for granted. That's what they always said. That was the moral. Be like the tortoise. But I want you to be both. The bored repetition of the tortoise, the slow grind, the nights in the office, in the dark, listening to Sigma male grind set music and motivating yourself to move forward as you train in sales or as you build your offers or as you work on ads or as you study that course or as you read that book or as you journal on that future. That's the bored repetition, but you also want the speed of the hare. The speed of the hare means you act with decisive quickness and momentum. Instead of you sitting back and waiting for things to come to you just because you're grinding and you're being patient and waiting for the universe to bless you. We don't want that. We want the speed of the hare. We want the speed and almost the recklessness of the hare to do things too fast. And this is something I live by. I'll do things too fast. I'll take on projects too fast. I'll push faster than I'm supposed to. But over time, I'll have the slow grind of the tortoise, right? Because the game is this. Speed is the biggest part of the game. This is the game. The game is speed. Like, it's the biggest part of today's game, especially because everything has become faster. The flow of information takes milliseconds. People want information now. You go on social media and your brain is just stimulated by a constant flow of information, entertainment, data, knowledge. Just every flow of information and data that could possibly exist is coming at us at light speed now, at warp speed. It's insane. So speed is the biggest part of the game. So if you're not actually moving with speed, aka being the hare, right? Being the hare who's rushing to the finish line, but like the tortoise, focused, consistent, enjoying the slow grind, however long that might take. But if you're not acting with the speed of the hare, you're going to get left behind. So what I do, going back to obsessive repetition and delicious boredom, part of this villain arc, part of becoming the anti-hero is you must learn to enjoy the dark nights. And by enjoy the dark nights, I mean the delicious boredom. It's the repetition where the skill set is built and the money's made. You have to enjoy the boredom and the consistency. An example of this is me with sales. I got better at sales faster than all of my peers. I literally got better at sales faster than all of my peers. I invested in a sales mentorship program close to a year ago. I trained under a mentor, and everyone in that program did quite well because it's one of the best programs out there outside of the training that I'm doing now and helping guys get better. And, I learned a lot. But a lot of the guys that were in that program with me really struggled, and it took them several months to see a change. Within the first month, I took my closing rate for the company I was working with, which wasn't even a great company at the time, from literally 10%, just under. It was at 9.8%. I remember it was crazy how bad it was. 9.8% to being at 20% with a bad company, and then getting on a really great offer and then hitting 35, 40%. The reason I was able to do that in such a short period of time, starting with a quick bump in a month, and then within 3 months being the top guy at the business in the company and then training their setters. The reason I was able to do that is because I enjoyed the slow grind, but I also had a baseline of success that I was building off of. So I had all these years of studying human behavior, coaching, training, and dating, mindset, all these things that helped me get good fast. But outside of that, I also enjoyed the slow grind. I sat and I withdrew myself from the world and I locked into sales. A lot of people don't know this, but I stopped going to the gym. I'll make a video on this later. I stopped going to the gym for literally 3 months completely. I did not go to the gym. My body, I was not happy with how I looked. It took a toll on my mental health. But I enjoyed the slow grind. I'm not even saying it's healthy to do that. I'm not saying you should do that. But those long nights of me watching my sales calls, taking notes on everything, rewriting my calls in a notebook. I'm talking by hand, writing my calls in the notebook, writing down the words and changing the scripting that I should have used, building frameworks that would help me learn it faster. The obsession, the maniacal obsession and the discomfort, staying up till 2, 3 a.m., watching my calls 2 times over on speed, and then watching the calls from my mentor, watching the role plays, training, all those things, getting on role plays late in the evening with guys that were in the US. I live in Europe, so the time zones are fucked. Me doing all of that made me better. And it's the slow grind, right? Me being in the slow grind and accepting the slow grind, but at the same time taking the initiative and leveraging the speed of the hare, acting quickly, not delaying, not overthinking everything, just fucking moving, but doing it over long periods of time and enjoying the pain and the slow grind. That's where the success comes from. The other thing I'm going to give you here, and this is actually really interesting, and I think a lot of men don't understand this. You have to use every single angle and edge if you want success. Okay, and I really mean this. If you want success, you have to use every single angle and every single edge. And not just use this, but meditate on it. And I'm going to explain what I mean. This is the next point. Meditate on angles and edges. So what you create in your life, whether this is your sales skill set or whether this is you building a product, some kind of course, some kind of offer, whatever you do, working for a company, you know, kind of as a hybrid entrepreneur, what you create most likely won't be the first time it's been created. Because virtually all information right now is accessible. All information is just out there. There's nothing that you really can create unless it's maybe in a completely new space, like let's say AI. If it's not in a completely new space, it's already been done and it's already been done somewhat well. Okay, so all information has already been created. This means, what does this mean? It's good and bad news. It means that today's challenge is to find angles and edges that make you different and better than everyone else. That's the game now that we play. That's the game I'm playing. That's the game that I've played in our group. You can see below, quantum level. That's the game we're playing. What I do in quantum level, training on sales, training on mindset, training on leaderships and communication, that's been done before. I'm not new to the game. I'm not the first person who's ever fucking taught like high ticket closing, sales for business, bringing in deals that are 10, 20K. I'm not the first person who's taught this. But I can find an angle, and I have found an angle and an edge that makes me do it better than everyone else. And this is the thing I literally have done with sales because I got good at the skill. Like I mentioned earlier, I got good at the skill faster than all my peers because I had studied human behavior through dating and social dynamics for years. I had spent years in the dating space studying human behavior, studying social dynamics, studying the inner and outer workings of the game, as it were. So I took all of that and I applied it to what I was learning in sales from my mentors, and I found a way to teach it and get other people results faster than my own mentors did for me. This is why in the mentoring program that I was in the coaching program I invested in, literally 2-3 weeks in, I was coaching other guys in the program for free, completely. I would just hop on role plays and they would sit and take notes, listening to me role play with them, me just giving them my insights, what I was learning on my calls. I found a way to teach it and get others results faster than my mentors did for me, but the reason is because I found an angle. So it wasn't like sales is the new thing. Sales is new. It's not. But there's ways you can teach it, ways you can learn it that are faster. Again, we have it down below in quantum level. It's free to join. So if you're not working on your skill set, you're going to get left behind and everyone's going to make more money than you. And you're going to fast forward in 10, 20 years and be like, what the fuck am I doing here? Still stuck at 5K when inflation's way higher. And that literally is like making 2, 3K a month. So I'm just telling you, get in the game, play the game. The information is always going to be available, but the delivery of the information can be better. The speed at which it's delivered and consumed can be better. That's what can be better, right? That's the edge you have. So what I'm doing is I'm consistently meditating on angles, meditating on edges, ways that I can get ahead of the competitions. Well, as an example, one of my good friends, he's reading market trends and trading, and he's building a way right now to capitalize on that data faster than 99% of people in the industry. How interesting is that? Trading isn't new. Understanding markets isn't new, but reading data and processing that data at a level and building an algorithm that understands and can process the data better than most people in the industry in trading because you spent so much time obsessing over it. That's an example of an angle. That's the game. Meditate on the angles, understand the shortcuts, understand the edges, get an edge over the competition. And this leads me to the last point here. This is really what I want you to focus on going forward from this training. Use every tool possible because you have only one life. Use every single tool possible. The whole purpose of this training, the whole purpose of everything that I make on this channel, everything that I share with you is to give you the tools that you can create the life you want. That's ultimately what I want to do for you. Give you the tools in sales, in mindset, so that you can create the life you want and have the freedom that you want. So in this game, I'm telling you, you don't understand how real this is, man. Like in this game, you have to find every single advantage possible and you have to relentlessly outcompete everyone else. You must be relentless. This is the villain archetype. This is the anti-hero arc. This is what it is here. I'm giving you the game. You must find every single advantage possible and use every advantage to relentlessly outcompete everyone else. Here's some of the tools I use. I'll give you a few of my tools. These are some of the advantages I use that have turned me into the anti-hero of my own life. And as you get to know me more, as we go into this channel more, I will share with you more about this as you get to know me as we build. We're going to go into this together. So join me on the journey. But here's some of the tools I use. Number one is competition. I want my friends to be great. And if you're one of my friends watching this, one of my boys, you know how I am. I want my friends to be great, but I want to be one step ahead. Always. Every time. If one of my boys is one step ahead of me, whether that's cash, lifestyle, freedom, whatever, wherever he's doing, I'm super happy for him. Always. I'm really happy for my guys. But then I'm like, I have to be one step ahead of you now. It's not enough that you're doing well and I just look at you and I'm like, good for you. No, I need to do better than you. This works for me. It doesn't work for everyone. Many of my friends who are very successful aren't motivated by this. They just want to see me do well, and they find other versions of motivation. Maybe that's giving back to their family specifically, right? Because that's their big driver. Maybe it's proving someone wrong who doubted them and thought they couldn't do it. Maybe that's their driver. Whatever the driver is for you, you need to use these edges and you need to use every single tool possible. My mental driver is competition because I was raised in a very competitive household. My father would literally make me watch Navy SEAL Special Forces and fighting documentaries to train me to be competitive. He would make me and my sister, and I credit him for this. I shout out you, Dad. Like, this was incredible and helped me perform. He would literally force us to play checkers and like battleship and board games against each other as kids. And he would say, if we didn't win, or if he beat us, which he would as an adult playing against kids, when he would beat us as we got older, he would always say, second place is the first place losers. You have to win. Like, do you want to win? And then as we got older, we began to beat him. We began to win. And it was a great time. And he wanted us to be better than him. He wanted to be better than us. And we kept moving that back and forth. So this is my edge. In skill set also, I apply this. I want to be better than the next guy at sales. I'm not kidding. I won't go so much into this, in our private community in our program, we have this. I go more into more stuff about, my training and my background. But one of the things that's interesting is one of the guys on my team that we're building out this amazing training program right now. He told me, he said he's going to watch more of my mentor's trainings in sales. And I said to him, fuck my mentor. And I have complete respect for one of my sales coaches. He's a great guy and taught me a lot of what I know in sales. And I credit him for a lot of the success I had that I've been able to implement. But I said, fuck this guy. And he was like, what do you mean, dude? He's your mentor. And my response was, we need to be better than him. I want to be better than him. I don't care if he's my mentor. I don't have him on some pedestal. I'm going to be better than him. I wish him all the success in the world, but I want to be better than him. That's my competition. That's my fuel. That's how I play the game. That's one of the edges that I have, one of the tools I have. Another one is locations. I love using location, as in where I work, where I work out. I work out in some of the top locations that I can find, whether I'm traveling, always I'm in the best gym with the best view, or surrounded by some of the most successful people, the most premium space I can find, or if I'm working, going to the best co-working spaces, the best offices, the best locations to get work done. It stimulates me, inspires me. Another one is films. There's a few films that are my go-tos that really inspire me, and I really feel bought into the hero's journey from the main character in these films. One film that's huge for me is The Dark Knight Rises. This is my go-to. Like, I'll watch this film probably 2-3 times a month consistently. I have half the film memorized. It's huge for me, just the journey, the characters, the villain arc, Bane, understanding the dynamics and the masculine imperative to win and to save the girl, like just all these things. It's incredible to me. So I love film. Another thing I love is music. And I don't just listen to anything. I listen to music that inspires me and creates certain thought patterns in my head. So I'll listen to a lot of inspirational music from artists like Hans Zimmer or Ludwig Göransson, a lot of these composers that have composed for films that are quite epic. I'll listen to those things. Or maybe if I'm in the gym, I'll listen to music about money, about success, about the hustle, old school Tupac, Biggie, those kind of things. I need to be in a space. I like leveraging tools. So whatever tool I can leverage to get success, that's what I'm going to do. You need to find what your tools are. And the final question I have for you, we're going to end on this, is who do you want to be? Like, who will you be? Who do you want to be? Do you want the success? Are you ready to draw a line to the sand right here, right now, and commit to yourself to be the villain, to become the anti-hero of your own story, of your own life? Are you committed to doing that? Are you committed to thinking differently, to enjoying the pain, to enjoying the discomfort, to going above and beyond, to learning your skill set and mastering it at a high level? If you are, I present a challenge to you. Be that man. Then if you're ready to draw that line to the sand, step into it and be it. There we go. One of the ways you can do it is by joining me down below. It's free. It's free. I'm not selling you shit. It's free. Down below, join Quantum Level. We have a free community. Come in and train with us. And if you're not doing that, at least subscribe so you can see me train you more and you can learn from me. We can be on this journey together. I want to see you grow. I want to see you have success and have everything you want in the world and more. Okay, be blessed. Take care. I'll see you on the next training. Adios. Goodbye. Auf Wiedersehen. See you next time.